Hello everyone, I am Sarabjit Kaur, Assistant Professor from Computer Application Department, CGC Landra. Today I'll be discussing about malicious software. This is our today's topic. And malicious software is commonly known by everyone, whether from the field or out of the field, because we are used to our systems, our mobile phones, our laptops, and we all face such problems which are caused by malicious softwares, right? So we will be discussing about what are actually malicious softwares, and then we'll be discussing about how many types of malicious softwares we do have, and then few of the terminologies. Terminologies means terms which are interchangeably being used to represent the malicious softwares, because every kind of malicious software has different impacts. So we'll be starting with what is malicious software first. Malicious software, also known as malware, it is basically unwanted program which is installed into our system through some downloading, through some execution, or through some kind of we can say material which we use through emails, or we receive some material through emails which we generally put into our system or laptop through pen drives or any storage medias. So malicious softwares are unwanted programs which are executed unknowingly or maybe knowingly onto your system, and it may harm your system, it may harm files on your system, it may harm network of your system. So malicious softwares, as it's written, it's a threat to computer system. It's a program which is inserted into a system with intent of compromising. Yes, these are three keywords: compromising, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Now, what does these three words signify? Confidentiality. These malicious softwares, or commonly known as malwares, are generally compromising the confidentiality of your data, of your sensitive information. Sensitive information which may be personal information, which may be the information which is not going to be, which you are not going to be shared with anyone else, like your account information, your bank information, or any other such information. So how confidentiality is broken by this malware? Confidentiality means when unauthorized access to your information is gained by such programs, unwanted programs or malwares, and the information is utilized to harm your information or your sensitive data. Then we have integrity, means your data is not correct. If your data is not correct in any sense, or if your data meaning has been changed, that comes to integrity. Then is availability. If data is not available for the user, if suppose we have made a website, that website we have launched or deployed for the use of the public, because we have deployed the website over the internet, it means we want public traffic to be booted on it. If that traffic doesn't come to your website, then there is no use of making it live, right? So if the traffic has made unavailable to access your website, that means availability is targeted by the malware. So all these things just sum up that malwares are really going to affect a lot on your system. Types of malicious software, types of malware. Generally, the category of malware is divided into two types. Types means how it affects. First thing is how it spreads to the target. It means how does it reaches, how does it comes to your system. This is the first category. Second category is what action actually it does. It means how that is going to affect your system, if it is going to affect your network, if it is going to affect your files. So the effect is the second category. So basically two categories, how it reaches to the victim, and second is how it affects the victim, what the loss actually it is going to give. Next we have terminology of malware. Terminology means different terms which are used interchangeably with different effects. So for malware or malicious software, these are few of the terms which are used interchangeably: adware, attack kit, autorouter, backdoor, which is also known as trapdoor. Then is downloaders, derived by download, exploits, flooders. Flooders are again about DOS attacks and DDoS attacks, which we will be discussing further. Then is keyloggers, logic bombs, macro viruses, mobile codes, spammer, spyware, Trojan horse, viruses, then worms and bots. So we will be discussing these all one by one. First is adware. Too common it is. You would have noticed that when you open certain website, you just have a pop-up, that is unwanted pop-up on your screen, which either you have to cross or you have to click on button to hide it. So those unwanted pop-ups are just for publicity of certain products, certain companies maybe. So those are adwares, right? It can result in pop-up ads and redirection of browser also. Sometimes we open a website, instead of directing to the open website, it will get us to some other website which is going to show us some kind of advertisement, so that our attention is towards the advertisement or the offer we get in the advertisement. Second is attack kit. Attack kit is deployed into your system through some kind of download. Along with the download, what does it do? It will automatically generate different kind of malwares. It may generate keyloggers, it may generate viruses, it may generate worms. So these kind of malwares are automatically generated by the attack kit. And these attack kits, again a small piece of code or program we say, are installed through some other programs into your system. Then we have autorouters. Autorouters, a kind of code which is kept hidden on your system. Unknowingly, the user is not aware of what actually is happening behind the scene. And what does it do? It actually gives the access to some cyber criminals to enter into your system and to get the remote access of your system. Remote access means when someone else sitting on some other place may control our system, right? So these auto routers or rootkits we say, these rootkits are installed into your system and user is not aware of these rootkits. So it will just be executed and the cyber criminals are going to get the way to enter into your system and to have the remote access. Then we have trapdoors or backdoors. Trapdoors or backdoors generally break down the security system. So it is actually kind of a secret entry point which is left within the code so that some kind of malicious activity may enter onto your system, right? So it is a secret entry point which is given within the system, which is given within the program. Then we have downloaders. Downloaders are basically downloaded along with some kind of softwares which are downloaded onto your system, some kind of executable files downloaded onto your system. So what does actually it do? It will make your system available when connected to the network. As soon as the internet is connected, this will just download some extra programs onto your system or onto your device, we can say, right? And these additional programs are unwanted programs which may harm your computer, which may infect your computer, which is going to spread the infection, so that your system becomes the compromised machine. Then is derived by download. So this attack is generally for mobile devices, as we download some kind of code, and along with the code the malicious attack happens onto your device. If suppose we download something through email, we receive certain attachment within the email, and from the download in email attachment, these kind of attacks happens onto your device. That may be your laptop, that may be your mobile, right? Then is exploits. Exploits is all about vulnerability. Vulnerability means when certain loophole or some kind of shortcoming is left within the whole write code, right? So this may be through the mistake of or through the dependency of developers, right? So this loophole will make your whole system vulnerable, and through this vulnerability, that is through this shortcoming, you may be trapped in certain kind of malware. Then are flooders. Flooders basically about DOS and DDoS attacks, denial of service and distributed denial of service attacks. The first one is about DOS attacks, when there is a single machine and single targeted server. Then we have DDoS attack, where we have number of machines and one targeted server. So this is basically going to show the difference between DOS and DDoS. When the attack is generated from multiple sources as shown here, it means that is DDoS attack, distributed denial of service attack. It will make your server unavailable for legitimate user. We won't be able to access the server, we won't be able to access the availabilities for the server. So this is the impact of DOS attack or DDoS attack. Then are keyloggers. Keyloggers are basically programs which are going to recognize your keystrokes, which are behind the scene recognizing, analyzing or counting the keystrokes of your system. If suppose this program is installed onto your system unknowingly, and if you are going to enter your password using the keystrokes, those keystrokes will be recognized by the keyloggers, and keyloggers will transfer the information to the intruders. So those intruders will get the information from your system and may misuse that information to get unauthorized access. Then is logic bomb. It is kind of explosion of attacks. It explodes when triggered by specific event. Specific event can be anything, like if you open certain kind of file, if you execute certain kind of file, if you are going to remove or delete something. So these are events. So logic bombs generate or explodes the malicious activity through the occurrence of certain event, right? So that event, as I said, can be anything related to your system or software application. For example, we may open some kind of music player. Along with that music player, this kind of malicious software may get executed onto your system. Then are macro viruses. Now what are macros first? Macros we have in Word, we have in PowerPoint. So macros are generally one word abbreviation which we use for line of code. When that macro is being called, the line of code actually is executed at the place. So macros makes our work easier, so we need not to place the same code again and again into our project or program. Now, what are macro viruses? So macro viruses uses the macros or scripting codes. As soon as you call the macros, as I previously said, what are macros? So we need to call the macros to get the code in place of that abbreviation. So as soon as we call the macros, these viruses gets attached to the macros. If suppose I have to repeat certain short program for 10 times within my project, so I'll be just calling those macros. So if I'm calling the macro, this script is executed and virus is attached to the script. Number of times that execution happens, number of times that virus also spreads into your system. Mobile code which has ability to transfer from one place to another. It may get itself attached to the email, it may get itself attached to some document, or may come through some kind of website. So these mobile codes have the capability to spread itself through some kind of storage media, through some kind of network usage. So it is going to spread itself. So mobile means ability to transfer from one place to another easily. Then spammer programs. You would have noticed we have a folder named spam in our emails. Spammer means unwanted emails which we get without our knowledge, and these unwanted emails are generally flooded by the intruder in huge volume to our email address. Suppose every day we are getting an email or containing some kind of advertisement, and same advertisement we are getting after every hour or after every day. So that is basically spammer programs. Intruder actually makes a program which executes the script to flood the email repeatedly after certain time, fixed time, to our email address, and it is going to fill the folder we have in our email. Then is spyware. Spyware, a program which tries to get the information, sensitive information from your system, which is going to sniff the information from your system. It may monitor your keystrokes definitely. It may monitor your screen data, what is happening over your screen, so that screenshots may be taken by such kind of programs, and those screenshots may be shared by these programs with the intruders, and intruders may take advantage of it to get the unauthorized access. Trojan horse. Trojan horse is basically malware or malicious software which actually looks like the legitimate user. Now what is legitimate user? Legitimate user is the genuine user of our code. So that legitimate user is, if mistaken with the intruder, with the software, malicious software, then it is quite hard and difficult to differentiate. Right? So Trojan horse, or basically known as Trojan, may take the control of your computer by predicting that it is legitimate user. It may damage your network, it may damage your data, or it may make your data and network unavailable for actual genuine user. Then are viruses. Viruses are actually executed with some kind of executable files. When those files, wanted files, are executed by the user onto the machine, these viruses are executed and they have ability to replicate itself, to make multiple copies of itself. So if the virus spreads itself onto the machine, that machine becomes the infected machine, compromised machine, and you may face problems in executing the actual files. So the impact of viruses may be to some kind of documents, may be to some kind of executable files, may be to your operating system as well. When infected code is again executed, the virus is also executed. So it means number of times it gets executed onto your system, and your whole system will be infected by these kind of viruses. After viruses, we have worms. Worms are executed independently. They don't require any executable files to trigger it. It has the capability of running independently. And what does it do? It actually spreads from one system to another, then it makes the infection over there, it makes it a compromised machine, then it spreads to the another machine, making it the infected machine. So it spreads from one machine to another, another to another. All of the machines which are connected through the network. So this makes it different from the virus, where virus is executed with execution of some kind of code, some kind of executable files. It is executed independently. Then are zombies or bots. Zombies are generally infected machines which are prepared and activated to spread the infection further. If over the network one machine is infected, it has some kind of virus, it has some kind of malware in it. If it is infected machine, then it may generate new infections and may spread it to the another neighborhood machine or the other machines over the network. So those machines which spreads the malware, those are known as zombies or bots. So this is all about malicious softwares or malwares, and these terminologies are also commonly used, but are also the awareness regarding what is happening with our system through these kind of malwares. And we must keep our system so secure, we must keep our network so secure so that the impact of these kind of malwares are reduced or are either prevented to enter into our system. So this is all about today's lecture. Thank you so much.